Hey guys, it's the Ollyboy 1923 again, back with another video. So I'm still not very good at intros, but in today's video, we're gonna be reviewing one of my favorite Metallica albums. Not my favorite. My favorite has to go to Justice for All, which I've already done a review about. You can find on my channel because there's only like 4 videos. Oh no, there's like 8 videos on here, but like whatever. I alluded to it in that video, but we're looking at the album Load today. I was thinking about doing Load and Reload as like the same album because they kind of are the same in my opinion. Yeah, they sound a little bit different, but I mean, it was meant to be a double album to begin with. They wanted to combine all 30 tracks into one album, but they couldn't. They didn't have the time to do that. So that's why it's released as a double. Or that's why it's released as sister albums. But so, yeah, I was thinking about doing it, but then I realized, I don't got that much time. I do got time, but I don't want to be fucking sitting here all day, listening to each and every album or each and every song. Because Load, on its own, is a fucking huge album. It's at 79 minutes long. They were just barely able to squeeze it onto a CD, a normal CD of the day. They couldn't, and The Outlaw Torn had to be cut down. They had to remove the second solo, I think, because it just wouldn't fit. They wanted an 11-minute long song. So, I'll worry about Load for today. Maybe I'll do Reloaded at a separate time, but, let's get into possibly one of my favorite titles for any Metallica song, or any song for that matter. Ate My Bitch. So, let's get into it. Alright, so now we are on the song Ate My Bitch, first song off the album, and I have to say, right off the bat, it's a great start. But before I get ahead of myself, the meaning behind the song is, the speaker, he doesn't give a shit about what people are dealing with. For example, oh, my parents died, XYZ, that kind of shit. He's gonna be like, oh, I don't care, it ain't my bitch. He really does not care about what's happening. That, at least from what I'm able to gather, I don't know, I'm really bad about interpreting the meanings of songs, especially this one, where, I guess it's not exactly cryptic, but, I'm just retarded or something, I don't know, but, yeah, this song, it's about, the speaker doesn't give a shit about what is going on in the world, around other people, saying, it ain't my bitch, or, I've already heard this song before, maybe being a reference to, oh, I've heard this, or I've heard this before, I've heard the same excuse over and over again, I don't know, but, again, I will say, it's a great song. I don't understand, well, maybe I do, but I don't really understand why you got an explicit rating. Because, I feel like part of the hypocrisy on YouTube, with the restricted mode is, the song Dyer's Eve, it says hell and damn a couple times, I think. It says fuck once, but this song, it says bitch like 10,000 times, it's literally the name of the song, or, it's in the name of the song. It was bitch for the demo, but, it says bitch, damn, hell, all that kind of shit, but it's still up, unlike Dyer's Eve, where you won't be able to find, just the raw song. You can find, the music video about it, because Metallica, it's not really a music video, but, YouTube considers it a music video. You'll be able to find it on YouTube. You won't find the raw song, unlike with this, where you will be able to find the raw song. I don't know. I'm not saying that either one of them should have been marked explicit, in my opinion, because honestly, this is Metallica, maybe if it's like fucking Taylor Swift, and she made an explicit song for her little kid audience, then I would see why it'd be such a problem, but this is Metallica. You're not supposed to be, a fucking 7-year-old listening to this. Even though there are 7-year-olds that listen to this. Whatever. I don't care. At least not these days, anyway. They're fucking listening to Drake or whatever bullshit they listen to nowadays. God, I hate rap music. But yeah, this is a great song. I like it. It's a great start to this album. They're feeding us the dessert first, so that the vegetables will be more tolerable. And why do I say that? Because I already know that, half this album is filler. That's why people make fun of these two albums so much, because they're just filled with songs that, I mean, they're okay, but they're not the greatest. But luckily, they do give up. But luckily, like, the first 4-5 songs on this album are some great songs. And then, see, again, feeding us the dessert first so that the vegetables will be more tolerable. So, I don't know what else to say about it. Yeah. Let's move on to fucking 2x4. Oh yeah, get hit in the head by a 2x4. That's how people say Load and Reload are terrible, because they got hit in the head by a 2x4 and hate music now. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so now we are on the second song of Load. Again, another, case where it's, feeding us the dessert, so the vegetables are more tolerable. 2x4. And from what I'm able to gather, again, because I get all my information for songs I don't really know about from the Genius app, because that's just what I have readily available. And it seems like they don't even really know what the meaning of the song's supposed to be. Well, there's one guy that had some idea where, it's about how the speaker of the song wants to kick someone's ass for mouthing off at them. And that is what I want to infer. It might be wrong, since, again, there might not be the true meaning unless fucking James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett and Lars Ulrich come out and say, oh, the song's about this, I can't do the riff right because I'm Kirk Hammett, But, I choose to believe that this song is about how the singer wants to kick someone's ass because they're mouthing off at them, and they say, I can't hear you, talk to a 2x4 or something like that, I don't know. Or, sorry, I can't hear you, are you talking to me, that's what it is. I can't hear you, are you talking to me? That's fucking hell, I suck at singing. So, so, how I feel about this song, I really do like it. It's a very catchy song. For example, it's a really catchy song. Like, if you're just in that mood, like, something's happening and someone's pissing you off. If you're listening to this song while someone's pissing you off, you might just snap and then fucking start beating the shit out of them. It really probably could, or at least for me anyway, because there's a lot of people in my life that have done stupid shit like that. That's why I made The Brooms. Because someone did that to me. It's not like I wrote it because for no reason. I based it off a true story. So yeah, that doesn't have to do with Metallica. It's a great song. I really like the riffs. They're really catchy. Like, I can't hear you, how you think. It's fucking hell. I already forgot the lyrics. James and, the whole gang, they did pretty good with this song. I would say it's above Ain't My Bitch, but it's a close second. But who knows? Maybe there'll be better songs as we go through the album. So, let's move on to The House That Jack Built. The House Jack Built. Either's correct in my opinion. It's the third track. So, let's get into it. Excuse me. Alright, so now we are on the third track of the album, The House That Jack Built. And it seems pretty clear-cut what this song's about. It's about an alcoholic that is struggling with alcoholism. He just kept, drinking. Keeps fueling it, essentially. You get sucked in. And there's a lot of lyrics that hint towards that. This is the house that Jack built. Jack potentially referring to Jack Daniels. The guy that made the whiskey. That we all know and love today, apparently. That I don't love, because I'm not old enough yet, but, a lot of people love. Let's see here. Open my eyes as I close them again, or whatever the fuck it was. What, still recording? Yeah, it is. Let's see here. Looking through the lyrics right now, because there's a lot of them. don't want control. You don't want to control alcoholism because that just is more effort. And I shake as I take it in, potentially referring to how alcoholics, they start shaking, once they get deep into the path. It swallows me as it takes me in its fog, referring to, getting drunk immediately. Let the show begin, also referring to that maybe, I'm not sure. He's beginning to drink again, yeah. And this was probably a very easy song for James Hetfield to write at the time, because at this point in time, he had been struggling with alcoholism for a long time. Since, I don't know, 1986. I mean, because, it takes a few years for you to start getting, addicted. I mean, he had been drinking since fucking, as long as he could, since the Kill 'Em All days, and he had issues all the way up till St. Anger, when he decided to get rehab, but then he lapsed back into alcoholism not too long ago. So, this was probably a very easy song for him to write, because he knows how it feels. Just to wake up every day, just to drink, just to feel normal again, just to feel happy. And it's really unfortunate, because that is how people get sucked in, and that's how they die. That's how their livers shut down. That's why alcoholism is such a problem around the world, especially here in the US, where it's, really easily available, and, I mean, there's, a million ways you can get it. It just sucks people I'm not trying to make it sound like, drinking's bad. Well, I mean, it is, but, drinking, I don't know, or taking a couple shots, well, not a day, but, getting real drunk one night, I'm pretty sure it's not a problem. I don't know from experience, because, again, too young to be drinking, but from what I've heard, it's from close relatives that have dealt with that before, it's not a problem. It's alright to do that every once in a while. But if you succumb to it, if you just let it take over you, it swallows you. You're not the drinker. You're getting drunk by the alcohol. Because it's destroying your liver. I mean, I don't want to get into, science class and all that, health class and all that, but that's what happens. And I have very personal experiences with that. Unfortunately, I lost my grandfather before I even got a chance to meet him. He died a couple years before I was even born. And so I never got a chance to meet him, because he let alcoholism take over himself. Another family member of mine, I mean, they're not dead yet, but they're struggling with it. They have been for a while. It's like they want help, but they don't know how to do it. And it's really unfortunate. If you have any family members who's dealing with something like that, please, I don't know. I mean, I'm not your dad, so I can't tell you what to do, but, maybe ask them about it. Talk with them about it. So, but, besides all of that personal shit, this is a good song. I really like the riffs and stuff. I like the nice slow, not slow per se, but a slower tempo from the last couple songs. I like the interlude or something? I don't know. I don't really know my terms for music, but the middle of the song, with the voice synthesizer shit, I really like it, and I really think, the gang did a good job writing the song. And I'm glad that James got the help at the time. Again, he has relapsed, I believe, back in 2019 or something. I mean, he's normal again, but it sounds like it's a struggle to deal with this. So, I shouldn't really say, I can't be really making fun of him for it, because, he's been dealing with a lot of stuff in his life. He dealt with a lot. As far as I know, he was abused as a kid. His parents passed away. He dealt with the loss of Cliff Burton in '86. He's dealt with a lot in his life. So I don't really blame him for going down that path, hoping to feel better. But there's always better ways to feel that way, or to feel in a better way. But before I get sucked into a tangent, let's move on to Until It Sleeps. Alright, so now we are on the song Until It Sleeps. Fourth song out of 16, so we only got 12 more to go. And this song, it's about how James Hetfield's mom died of cancer, essentially. I mean, well, it doesn't mention Hetfield explicitly, but that's pretty much, that's what inspired him to make this song. The passing of his mother due to cancer. And it really hits close to home for me because I'm pretty sure I've already mentioned this a couple times, but my grandmother, she passed away because of cancer. It was lung cancer that she passed away from back early last year. It was very unexpected, and it made me fucking sad. So, I don't blame James for making a song about this, and it seems that in a couple of the lyrics, he mentions how alcoholism has tied into this as well. So, we can go back to the house that Jack built. We could put these two songs together. They go hand in hand. Because whenever someone goes, in a lot of cases, people that don't know how to handle their emotions correctly, which is a lot of people, they don't really know what to do, so they resort to stuff like drug abuse and alcoholism and all that. So, I don't blame him for wanting to make a song about this, because that's one of the easiest ways to move past it. You just let all your emotions out for that one thing and move on. And from music-wise, it is fucking great. I really like the slow tempo of it, again, very, clean guitar tone until Kirk's solo, which is fucking amazing as well. My only wish is that it was longer, but I don't blame James for making it the length he did. He probably doesn't want to continue singing about how he felt when his mom was dying, because it's a really painful thing to deal with. To watch someone in pain dying. And I feel like the phrase, until it sleeps, it's gonna keep ravaging you until the person dies. I feel like that's what that means. I might be wrong, though. So, sorry to hear how that happened. I dealt with a very similar situation. Now let's move on to King Nothing before I get too emotional. Alright, so now we are on King Nothing, the fifth track off this album. I don't know why I keep saying, what number we're on. Maybe it's because, if people skip around, but anyway, so this song is it's pretty simple. It's about a leader that they abuse their power. They're like, oh, I'm in charge, la la la, I get to do whatever the fuck I want. And then the people that he rules, they start to leave him, abandon them. Maybe this happens all before the song, but then when the song starts, they're really expressing how alone he is and how and how and how the crown that he has represents nothing anymore. Hence the name King Nothing. He doesn't rule anything anymore because everyone's left him. Because why the fuck would you want to support someone that is a piece of shit towards everybody? It makes no goddamn sense. And so, I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of how this feels. As mentioned before in the Justice for All review that I did, there were a couple songs where I mentioned oppression and all that, oppression, censorship, that kind of stuff. And I believe that is what a principal of mine had been doing for the last couple years I was in school. If I had a question, they would shut it down immediately. If I wanted to criticize someone, they'd shut it down immediately. They'd let the kid talk all the shit he wants about anybody. But if I mentioned if I mentioned, hey, that's retarded, you shouldn't be talking like that towards people, then I get in trouble. When everybody has the same opinion on somebody, they're usually right. The people that has the majority is usually right. So the majority opinions are probably the right opinions. But yet, either way, it doesn't matter, or it doesn't matter who's in, or it doesn't matter who the majority is. They still oppress it. Going back to justice for all. But when everyone decides that they're just not going to listen to that person anymore, that's when their insecurities might come out, and then they're like, "Oh, but I'm in charge. No, you can't be doing this. Get back here." But yet they don't listen. They just leave. And leaving them all alone. All they're left with is just a name and a title. They're just left with the title of king, but they don't rule anybody. That's what the song is about. I guess also, careful what you wish. You might just get it. If you wish for everybody to be obedient, you might get the exact opposite. I'm not sure. I feel like my first interpretation is probably correct. So yeah, it's really sad to see how people, especially here in the U.S., where everyone's supposed to be, or where this is supposed to be the land of the free, everyone has decided nowadays that there is no free speech. You can do it your own way if it's done just how I say. That's how the government feels about anything. That's how anybody feels about anything. Call me a fucking Republican all you want. I don't care. But Jesus Christ, I'm getting a little too charged on this, but it pisses me off that this land that is supposed to have free speech is become corrupt. It has become to where everybody, they can have a voice if they want to, but if they say something's bad, then they go ahead and remove it. And then that leads into what this song is about. So before I go on a fucking Republican debate, I should probably move on to, what's the next one? Hero of the Day. Alright, so now we are on Hero of the Day. We're almost halfway through the album. And in the song, again, it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint exactly what it's about. But so in other words, I don't really know what it's about. Sorry, this is one of the few times I don't know what it's about, but I will say it probably has to do with stuff like adversaries or something, like bad things that happened in life. Because they try to fix it, or because, they mention, or because the speaker mentions mama, they try to fix everything. They try to get through it, Really shitty analysis on this song, but I will say, I do like it. I like how soft it is in the beginning, and then I like how it ends, where it gets a lot faster and heavier. I mean, that's not nearly as heavy as some of the other ones that we've already looked at, but it is a great song. I honestly I have not listened to this yet because, again, I want to get through, or because, I only listened to, the first 5 songs on this album for whatever reason, but I will be sure to add this one to my fucking list there of good Metallica songs. This one is definitely a great song. So, let's move on to Bleeding Me, or was it called Mine Eyes, as the demo. I don't remember. We don't care about the demos. No, we don't care about Fan Can 3 or the Mucho demo, whatever it's called. So now we are on Bleeding Me. I believe this is the 7th song in the album. Yeah. Or is it the 8th? I'm not sure. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I kind of lost track. Whatever. So, I mean, I feel like for this song, there really isn't a true meaning as to what it's about. I think it's just about how James, he just wants to let out all the evil. At this point, it seems like he's realized that his alcoholism has gotten out of control, and he just wants to let out all the evil that's been building up in him. Referring to bleeding me, he's bleeding out all of his hate. He's bleeding out all of his anger. Leeches are sucking out all the anger as well. He mentions leeches in the chorus. And I really do like it. I like the slow tempo of it. And I also like how I really do like how. Hang on. Sorry, I'm really bad about forming words. Like 1 in the morning. I really like how he lets out everything. Because, with me, I do have a lot of hatred and anger and upsetness built up in my body. And I really do just want to let it all out in a song. Just saying, I got I'm bleeding out all my anger. I'm having the leeches suck it all out. It's a very personal song because because there's a lot of stuff in my life that I found unfair and retarded and I hate. But I can't. But at the time that stuff happened, I'm not able to let it all out because I probably would have gotten in a lot more trouble if I did. Like for example, I mentioned in my last review how I got ISS for sending some kid a picture that he didn't like, a joke that he didn't like, I should say. I made a whole diss track about it. I got in trouble for it. Well, not for the diss track, but I got in trouble for sending those pictures, and it made me really angry. But I had to keep in all the anger and all the hatred because I would have gotten in more trouble if I just let it out. So I appreciate James for letting out all of his anger and hatred in this album. In the song. So let's move on to Cure. Alright, so now we are on the 8th track. I don't know what I said for Bleeding Me. I think if I said anything other than 7, that'd be wrong because that was the 7th track. So Cure is the 8th. So this song, there's a lot of different interpretations from what I've been able to see. Some say it's about James Hetfield's mother and cancer, just like one of the earlier songs. I already forgot the name of it. Listen, there's 14 songs, and they're all really long. Well, they're not all really long, but it's a really long album. I'm like halfway through it. So for Cure, I want to believe that this song is about how everyone has their own struggles on the inside. About how everybody has their own issues. Whether it be alcoholism, drug abuse, physical abuse, sexual assault, any sort of issue. Everyone has something burning on the inside. Everyone's sick with it. Or everyone's sick with their disease. And everyone needs a cure for it. Because everyone wants to feel better. Everyone wants to feel happier. Because they don't want to have to deal with whatever is bothering them in their lives. That's just my interpretation. There's a lot of others. In terms of music, I feel like this is like one of the better songs on the album. It's nice and groovy, nice and catchy. I like how, in the middle of the song, the phrase, "I do believe," is repeated a million times. I do believe that there is a cure. Unfortunately, though, in the real world, there is no cure for stuff like that. There is no way for everyone to feel happy because of what's bothering them. And it's really unfortunate. But at the same time, though, if everyone felt happy all the time, wouldn't life get boring? I'm not trying to say stuff like sexual assault and all that's okay. I'm just saying if the minor things that upset people, like, oh, I don't know, I dropped $1 out of my wallet and now that's $1 less that I have, that kind of stuff. But like these huge issues, there should be a quote-unquote cure for, because they're things that are not okay, and that those are things that people deal with. Again, like a lot like those examples I mentioned, where people do have control about it, but there's also issues that people don't have control about. Death, illness, that could lead to death. I'm talking about like real illnesses, like cancer, all that. I don't know, the fucking bubonic plague. So, everyone needs a cure for something. But there are no cures yet for anybody. Because, unfortunately, there's just some things that you can't cure. There's some things that you can't make better. All you gotta do is move past it. You gotta accept that it happened and move past. Again, like death. You can't stay focused on it forever. You gotta move past it to feel happy. So that's just my opinion on what it's about. There's a lot of songs on this album that are just interpretations, because either A, can't find anything solid on them, or B, I think the interpretations are different, or maybe there is none. Maybe it's something else that's not completely unknown. So let's move on to Poor Twisted Me, the 9th song, finally. Now, what I was alluding to earlier about how most of these songs are filler, how would I feel about them? I would say that so far a lot of them are filler kind of songs. Like, they aren't terrible, but they really should have been separated on their own album with whatever Reload has for filler. They could have had one good album and one mid-album before they released the trash known as Saint Anger. They just dumped that garbage onto our front lawn. But that's a discussion for a different day. So let's move on to Poor Twisted Me. Alright, so now we are on Poor Twisted Me. And already from the title, you might be able to tell what the song is about. But if you can't tell, something bad has clearly happened to the speaker in this song. But he uses that as an excuse to get more sympathy and more pity off of people. Like, for example, there's this guy, actually there's a lot of people on YouTube that do this, but there's this guy that has mental illnesses. For example, like schizoaffective disorder, I'm pretty sure. He knows that he has it, but he tries to get sympathy for other things that he doesn't have, which cause people to abandon him. And I'm pretty sure the same thing happened to the speaker in Poor Twisted Me, if the story continued. I feel like the same thing would happen, because you can only go so long supporting somebody without deciding that they've had enough support and just move on without them. And if they want to stay behind, expecting more sympathy and more those clout points, well, that's their own problem. And I feel that way with this song. That I feel like there's a lot of people, that I know that would fall into this category. A lot of people at school that I knew. There was this kid. I don't want to call him by his real name, but I made a song about him. He was annoying. He's annoying and stuff. But he did have some bad things that happened in his life. But then he would try to use that as an excuse to get more sympathy. For example, oh, but my parents were in a fight. Well, they might have been, but if you say it every day, people don't believe you. And then they just decide, hey, listen, you won't get the points for today, because, at that point, we were almost in fucking high school. You shouldn't be saying, oh, but this happened, this, that. My dog ate my homework, for example. Fucking overused one since, the 90s, but I'm pretty sure if he had a dog, he would actually say that. There's people that just don't want to move on, because they just want everyone to do everything for them. And I hate those kinds of people. Those are the people that never succeed in life. If they just stick around all day, expecting everything to be done for them, and I mean everything, even using the bathroom for that guy I was talking about, if everyone expects everything to be done for them, or if they expect everyone to do everything for them, they're gonna get moved on at some point. And then say something actually comes up. It's gonna be a boy who cried wolf situation. You cried wolf too many times, no one's gonna believe you anymore. So, that's just my take. A lot of people will be like, well, everyone should be there. Well, no person left behind. Yeah, right. God, I hate mentality like that. Let's move on to Wasting My Hate. Before I get all fucking pissed. Alright, so now we are almost done with the album. I think we only got 4 more songs to go with, including this one. Not including this one. Wasting My Hate, that's the song. It's 10th song off the album. It's about how the speaker, he has a lot of hate built up in him, but he doesn't want to dump it out on people that he sees. He's just going to keep it for himself. So, I mean, which, in my opinion, is not really a healthy way of dealing with hatred towards people, or towards anything, for that matter. And any sort of anger, you don't want to bottle up. But I do see why someone would do that, especially out in public. You know, if you're seeing someone, you don't want to go off on them and be like, oh, I hate you, this, that, you know, fuck you, go kill yourself, go jump off a bridge, you know. That's how people get upset. Because, you know, this isn't like some little hearted thing, you know, where he says on the, like, where he said on the internet, oh, you suck. No, that actually can make people feel really upset. So, I do understand why the speaker would want to bottle him up, instead of unleashing hell on everybody for no reason. So, it also has a really good, catchy... God, I can't fucking think of my words. That's what happens when I stay up till like 1:30 in the morning fucking dealing with this. It has a very catchy main riff towards it all. I really like the main riff of it. It's a really good riff. Again, one of the better songs on this album. And I will also definitely add this to my list of Metallica songs that I'd want to listen to. So let's get into Mama Said. Alright, so now we are on Mama Said, not Mama's. James didn't have two moms. But, you know, as I just gave away, this song is about some of the stuff that James's mom, you know, inspired him with before she passed away in 1979. So, you know, just some personal anecdotes from James. But at first, you know, when I first started listening to the song, I was gonna be like, oh, this is a country song, I don't like it. But then, as I gave it a listen, I realized that it's not just it's not just like some country song. It has meaning behind it. You know, it has a lot of meaning behind it. I feel like this is the one exception for any country-esque song that I've ever listened to, because usually I consider country a shit genre. But this song in particular, I do like. I do like how James decided to make it super personal and talk about how his mom was feeling about him before she passed away. It seems that she felt James had a huge potential, and he does. He did. He still does. I mean, Metallica, I mean, they're the biggest band, they're the biggest metal band in the entire fucking world. He had huge potential, and he reached it. So, I feel like Mama James, all the way up in heaven, is very proud of him. Is very proud of what he's done with his life. And even though at this point in time, he was going through a lot of shit, he got over it. Well, then he relapsed again, but he got over it again, and he's continuing to make good music. I mean, I feel like at this point with newer Metallica albums, I feel like they're just okay, but like they're still not bad. I mean, I'd rather listen to that over any of the other shit I can listen on the radio. You know, fucking Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, fuck that shit. I'd rather listen to 72 Seasons over any of that. And I'm very happy that James decided not to quit. I'm happy that he decided to continue working with Metallica and making music. Just to make his parents, and I bet his parents are fucking happy, right? And the pearly gates up there. So, you know, and in terms of, I already mentioned, you know, how I felt about the music. At first I thought it was garbage, but then as I gave it a listen, it felt more powerful. So, this one is a little all over the place, but, you know, that's just how I can explain it right now. So let's move on to Thorn Within. Not Thor Within, Thorn Within. I gotta mention that, because I got a lot of that person in me. So let's just move on to it. Alright, so now we are on the 12th track, The Thorn Within. Thorn Within. You know, there is no the in the name, but again, this was one of the songs that it was kind of hard for me to figure out what the meaning was behind it. But again, I want to think, you know, he mentions that he feels guilty about a lot of things, so maybe the meaning is like a thorn within him. You know, well, not within him literally, but like, it feels like there's a thorn in his side, you know, telling him, you know, reminding him of all the guilt. No, I don't know why I keep saying him, it's the speaker, but reminding the speaker of all the guilt trapped within them. So, again, that's all I'm able to decipher from it, because it seems that even fucking Genius doesn't really know what the song's about. And all it mentions is that it's never been played live. I'm like, who fucking cares? I want to know what the meaning of the song is. And I think this album has I think this song has my favorite intro on the album. And same with the outro as well. I mean, you know, he just shouts, "I am the thorn within." You know, it's before 2011 with "I am the table." So, you know, I really do like this song. I'm sorry if it seems like it's really boring, but you know, I just kind of want to power through the next couple songs because it's a really long album. I kind of underestimated how long it was. It's a good thing I'm not reviewing Saint Anger, because I'd fucking lose my mind. I'm not sure if I'll ever even complete Saint Anger's. No, I'm not sure if I'll ever even finish that review. I can't listen to it. It's like they rewinded each track just to get a quota to fill it all up. Jeez, I'm fucking tired. Let's move on to Ronnie. Well, who is Ronnie? Ronnie Ann? I don't know. Let's just listen to it. Alright, so now we are on the penultimate track on this album, fucking finally, called Ronnie. You know, I was wrong to assume that it was that the song was about fucking Ronnie Ann from the Loud House, you know, fucking dumbass, but, fucking hell, the song is about some kid named Ronnie, apparently, and oh wow, we would have never guessed it about Ronnie, huh? But apparently he has, like, an agenda to kill people or something, you know, shoot up schools. I mean, because, you know, he's mentioning how there's red all across everywhere, or, you know, it's a bloody day. Or you know, the lyrics mention, you know, there's red everywhere, it's a bloody day. They all fall down, the blood has stayed the sun today, you know, at the end. So, you know, lyrics-wise, in my opinion, not really the greatest topic to discuss for a song. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I don't mind if it's like, you know, you're mentioning, you know, how tragic of a day it was, but with the way that this song sounds, it almost seems like they don't care. I mean, you know, there's just like a punk sound to it, instead of like more of a grim sound to it, which I feel like nowadays would get Metallica like fucking canceled or something for that. But, you know, this was back in the 90s where everyone had their own fucking opinion and they didn't have to worry about everyone canceling each other, so, you know, in my opinion, probably not the greatest topic to be talking about, especially for a song this upbeat. I'm not saying upbeat like as in, you know, oh my god, it's inspiring me to do this. No, it's just neutral. But, like, again, I would have preferred it to be more of like a sadder theme because, you know, last time I checked, fucking school shootings aren't happy. They aren't happy-go-lucky days. So, I mean, you know, I feel like that's something that they might have done wrong, but, you know, I'm not going to criticize, I'm not going to get angry at them for their choice, because everyone has the right to fucking free speech, or at least they should. So, let's move on to the last song of this album, the longest one, as I've already alluded to. It's almost 10 minutes long. The Outlaw's Horn. I don't know why I sound so angry about this, because I know I like this song. It's really long. Alright, so now we are on the final song of Load. Fucking finally. The Outlaw's Horn. And the song, it's about trying to find a replacement for somebody that you know you probably won't be able to replace. And in my opinion, I feel like this is about Cliff Burton. You know, you can't replace Cliff Burton. He was probably one of the greatest fucking bassists in the entirety of metal, especially thrash metal. Because, you know, he had some of the greatest songwriting. Just listen to fucking Orion, if you don't believe me. He had a great bass technique. You know, he was probably one of the greatest bassists ever. But unfortunately, we lost him in '86. And Metallica realized that no matter how many people you try to go through, you probably won't be able to replace him. Especially in their hearts. Because, you know, Cliff was almost a fucking brother to them. So, this song is trying to search for somebody that can replace somebody that you can't replace. Again, with Cliff Burton. And I think this is a great way to end this album. I think it's a really great... God damn it. I think it's a really great song. I like the slow tempo to it, you know, to try to draw it out, you know, really to emphasize how long you're searching for someone, you know, to replace. And I really like the last solo on this song. Hetfield's solo on this song is great. Unfortunately, they had to cut it short because it wouldn't have fit on the CD, like I mentioned earlier. But that's a trivial thing. And if you want to listen to the full version, I think there might be one out on YouTube. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure someone took the single release, you know, the full 11-minute single, and uploaded it. So if one of you guys find it, if one of you guys finds it, you know, tell me and I'll put it in. But this is a great way to conclude Load. And I really like Lars's drumming in this song because he's able to keep up drumming. I mean, it's not exactly a fast drumming because, you know, it's a slow song, but it's still very repetitive. And nowadays, I'm pretty sure if he tried to do that, he'd just snap his drumsticks in half, go back to Saint Anger, and pound on fucking garbage cans as his quote-unquote drum set. God, I hate the sound of the drums on Saint Anger. But this is probably, I think this and Reload are the last time we'll ever see Lars's true greatness with drumming. Especially on a song like Fuel or A Memory Remains. Those are some pretty good examples on Reload with drumming. I mean, you know, fucking Lars, he's able to keep up the drumming. He's able to keep up the tempo. I mean, it's a pretty fast song. So, I mean, I can applaud him for being able to keep it up back then. But, you know, since Saint Anger, I mean, he hasn't been terrible. But at the same time, though, he doesn't have the same thump he used to have. So, I'm really happy with the way they decided to end this album. And my final verdict on this album, I do like a lot of the songs on it, but it is really fucking repetitive. There are, maybe not repetitive, but there are a lot of filler songs that are just okay. I'd say about a good 4 or 5 of them are just filler songs that are okay. It's like eating Wagyu steak, you know? You can eat small amounts of it and feel fine, but if you eat a ton of it, like if you eat like a fucking 12-ounce, you know, sirloin from an A5 Wagyu cow, you're gonna feel like shit afterwards. Same with this album. You can listen to it in small amounts and feel good, you know, a couple songs at a time, but if you listen to it all at once like I did, it feels daunting. So, you know, for how long it is, or, you know, for the quality compared to how long it is, I would have to give it like a 7 out of 10. There are good songs off this album, like some really good songs, but they're just floating in a sea of okay songs at best. I really wish Metallica decided to release like 3 or 4 albums out of these, because and they were expecting to get 30 of them on one album. God, I can't even listen to 50, I can't even listen to 14 of them, let alone making 30 of them. It is daunting to listen to this all at once. But now that I know what good songs there are on this album, I'll take them out, go ahead and put them on my list with a lot of the other ones from Metallica that I like, and I'll move on with my day. So, if you've been listening for the full fucking hour that I've been talking, thank you. This took like fucking 2 hours to make, because, you're listening to 74 minutes of this, so I had to listen to 74 minutes of this, plus the 50 minutes I've been talking, so hope you guys enjoyed the long video. It's really long, fucking comment, like, subscribe, all that happy horse shit, and I'll see you in the next one, which, it might be a reload after this one, I'm not sure. See y'all.